It's May 11th, 2015, and we want to know, is Midnighter the Chuck Norris of the DC Comics multiverse?
Dog welder, dog welder, dog welder, dog welder, dog welder.
All that and more is coming up. It's another episode of DCR.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the DC and the R, where we're going to be talking about DC Comics and what's coming up here soon. It's a minisode. We coined that phrase not but a day or two ago.
No one has ever used it before us.
I, Sean Lamont, comic book reader extraordinaire, coined that phrase with the assistance of my cohort in crime, Mr. Brian Glein here.
Hey, Sean.
Hey,
are you ready
Brian.
for those dollars just come rolling in from that word we invented?
Do we just... I think we forgot to say TM on the end. Oh, no. All that revenue we're losing out on.
Oh, if only I had said R with circle in it.
But as such, we are going to be
You make
talking...
money from words, right?
Yeah, I think that works. I own the. The is now mine.
Lucrative.
Yeah, I was trying to get the letter E, but someone jumped on that one, so I had to pay some licensing fees for the letter E and the, and after that, it's golden.
Okay.
Golden for me.
See, I copyrighted anti-disestablishmentarianism. Nothing.
Never. Other than when someone's trying to say, haha, I'll stump you, spelling bee person.
Yep. When a junior high student starts smelling their armpits, you know, that's when I know I got some money coming in.
Nickels coming your way right then. But what we're going to do here today is we have some backup issues that were in all of the Convergence books that are kind of sneak peeks, kind of preludes is probably the best term for them, of what DC Comics is going to be doing after this Convergence event. And rather than mix them in with all the Convergence stuff, we're spinning them off into these little minisodes so that we can just kind of keep chocolate and peanut butter separate, and because who puts them together?
Yeah.
That's crazy talk.
That's just madness.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about some spoilers. We're going to talk about some character beats. We're going to talk about some plot developments. But you have no excuse to not read these books before we talk about them because they are free.
Yep.
You can go on your computing device of your choice right now.
A computer?
A computer, I believe the kids are calling them nowadays, and go off to DC Comics website and read every single one of these for free. You can head off to, I believe, the Comixology has them as well.
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure I saw them out there.
I saw all the artists I follow on Tumblr were linking to them.
Yeah, so. You do not have to go out and buy the physical books to read these ones. They are available for free digitally, as well as the next 3 weeks worth of these preludes. They want you guys to see what they're doing because they are taking some risks. They're trying some new stuff. They're
really taking some risks.
Yeah, they're varying their tone quite a bit on a lot of these books, and they want you guys to see them because they don't want you to have to feel you have to buy this stuff sight unseen because the titles do not match the tones on a lot of these, and you might be going, oh, well, that sounds like a fun romp, and you buy it and you go, holy crap, that is not the direction I was expecting this to go. So they are giving you all the ammunition you need to make an informed buying decision, and doing a good job of really pulling you in on some of these to go, I kind of want to know what happens next here.
Yeah.
So, we're going to run through the 10 that we got for this week. I'm going to start off with, Detective Comics.
All right.
Detective Comics. Manipul and Buccellato are doing this. Obviously, artistic, beautiful, stunning. The color work alone is worth the price of admission, not just for this prelude because it's free. I'm talking about all the books they've been doing with the Detective Comics. And what we've been getting in Detective Comics has been a surprising, I would almost say like a newer version of Gotham Central. We're dealing a lot more with the Gotham GCPD than we are with Batman. He's shown up quite a bit.
It's the detective book, you know.
Yeah, it is a detective book, and honestly...
It's almost a Harvey Bullock book to a certain extent.
Harvey Bullock has been the main character of Detective Comics, and this prelude shows that that is not changing anytime soon, because I have to do... There's a little flashback to start off with, where Detective Bullock is talking to the new Batman of Gotham City. As we know, Batman is dead. Bruce Wayne is no more. He died fighting the Joker in Endgame right before all this Convergence stuff started. And to take his place, a crowdsourced, corporate-mandated robot suit of Batman, because some corporation said, hey, guys, the Powers Corporation came in and said, Gotham City needs a Batman. It's big for our tourism. Everyone shows up to see Batman fight a bad guy, punch a man-bat in the face. We really need a Batman here, so we built this Batman robot suit, and we want to put the ex-commissioner of the GCPD, Jim Gordon, in that suit. Kind of a big turn for Gotham right then and there. Obviously, stories are going to be a little different moving forward.
There'll be a lot more weep, whoop, weep.
Yeah,
weep.
yeah. So a lot of mecha, a lot of speed lines all over the place as things happen. I'm just assuming once you get a mecha involved, speed lines are inevitable. A lot of missile pods just shooting 8 billion missiles and something.
How do they all fit in there?
I don't know. But Detective Bullock is talking to Jim Gordon as he's suiting up in the robot suit, and he's asking for his help. Jim Gordon, you've always had my back. I've always had your back. I need you to have my back in what I'm about to do. And that's when we jump ahead to later on that evening, where Detective Bullock, Renee Montoya, and his Detective Bullock.
Is this the first time we've seen her in the New 52?
She's made a brief cameo, I believe.
Okay.
At least I know she was mentioned in Batwoman at the very beginning.
Okay.
And she was a picture on the wall, at least in the GCPD. So
gotcha.
She's at least been mentioned. This is the first time she's probably going to have much more than a background character role. But Bullock, his partner, Detective Yip, and Renee Montoya are on the chase. They're in a car trying to chase down something. We can't quite see what it is. When their car flips over during the chase, and they are rescued by Jim Gordon in the Batsuit, who then flies off. Batsuit away! He runs off. And as Montoya and Bullock crawl out of the wreckage, they kind of look to one another and they go, this is our chance. This is probably the only time we're going to get to do this. And Renee pulls out a pistol, and Bullock goes, no, we don't have time for that. And Yip's still in the car, and they walk on over to it, and Bullock pulls out a lighter, and we assume throws it at the car because there's a giant explosion. And that's when it cuts back to that flashback scene where he's talking to Jim Gordon. He goes, I need your help to kill my partner, because if we don't, she's going to bring the entire GCPD down. And I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're dealing with some internal affairs type over the edge stuff. This is Internal Affairs Extreme Edition right here. I really like the police type stuff that they're doing with it. Obviously Gotham Central, a big favorite for everyone. So when you're dealing with that type of stuff and the politics that are involved as well when it comes to the GCPD, especially when the ex-commissioner is now in a mecha suit running around and kind of works with the police, but not with the police. There's a lot of room they can run with in this story, and it looks stunning.
And when they run, it goes weep, whoop, weep.
Of course it does. But I have to say, this one hooked me pretty quickly as far as a hey, by the way, we're going to try something over here. You guys should maybe check us out. I was like, okay, you won me over. I want to see what happens here, how we get to this point, and what's going on. If you remember, Yip has been
the worst.
Yeah, Yip has
been the worst.
Yip shot a child in the face and then
blamed it on Batman.
Yes, and then after it came out that she did it, the police backed her and said that, oh no, it was all by the book. You're released without any charges. And so Yip already is pretty shady, we know. So I want to see exactly what it is she's doing to... I don't know if we're going to go into the current affairs of police and the general public right now, because I thought that was the direction they were going when it was the anarchy stuff and Yip shot the kid that was absolutely innocent just because he was wearing the mask. And it was obviously this whole like police versus the public thing, and then they kind of, whoa boy, let's back away from that because that story is not over.
We do not want to Law and Order this.
Yes, rip from the headlines, put it right back there. So
doom doom.
As we'll talk about later,
doom doom and the whoop whoop.
Yes, as we'll talk about later, they are taking some big risks with a lot of these books. So I wouldn't be surprised if they said, okay, good luck.
Yeah.
It's a minefield, but good luck, guys. Get on out there. So I want to see how they would
draw
handle
pretty
that.
pictures. That'll cover up some of it.
Yeah. So that is Detective Comics. Very, very solid. Very solid.
All right, so going on to Green Arrow, which has been taken over by Benjamin Percy and Patrick Zurcher.
What has Percy written before? Or has he written anything?
He has done some novel. I think he's done some actual prose novels, and I think he did a graphic novel that I was not familiar with.
I could see the prose. There's a very narrative style to this one, and I'm not saying that's bad whatsoever. It's just very different from the last arc of Green Arrow.
Yes.
Very, very different. And I'm not saying whether it's for the better or for the worse. I'm just saying it is a polar opposite direction from the last arc.
Maybe you can hear my smile while I'm talking about it. So Oliver is off in Alaska trying to find himself, flirting with women, fighting murderers in clown masks, and drinking whiskey that has a dead guy floating in it.
Sure.
The usual kind of stuff you do when you're trying to find yourself in your mid-20s.
Honestly, I can't tell you how many dead people whiskey shots I took. Just when I was sad. A girl would dump me. Time to go up to Alaska and drink dead guy whiskey. Just gotta do that.
And when that doesn't give him enlightenment, he goes back to Seattle, where he's really, really needed, because Emiko is in over her head with a gigantic swarm of skull-masked ninjas.
And right there, they won me onto their book. As soon as they were apparently they're running with all of the Lemire stuff. They're picking up a lot of the loose strands from that and running.
Felicity, welcome to Argus.
I forgot about that. Your quote-unquote Sandman Sims hookup just pulling you right out of this book.
Steve Trevor just starts sweeping her off. Monique's just there, womp womp,
Well, I obviously
if they work her in there and make her work, I have no issues with that either.
Yeah, same. That personality type getting old with me, as I said in the last episode, where it's just what do they call that? The magical,
the manic pixie dream girl.
Yes, the manic pixie dream girl. That's really starting to become just the girl.
Yes.
In everything that I read or watch, and I'm just like, why are you doing it with every character now? Come on, not everyone is Zooey Deschanel. Not everyone.
Well, even Zooey Deschanel's not really the archetype for that anymore.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's just a current one that I could throw out there. So it's a well-known one at least. What do you think?
I like it, and I'm pretty confident. I know I'm going to like the art, if anything. So
yes. I think we've made our statements pretty clear when it comes to Patrick Zurcher's
during
art.
Future's End. So
So
if he's going to be fighting a swarm of skull ninjas versus Emiko, because we love us some Emiko.
We'll give you a shot with that. Yeah, obviously Emiko, I'm on board 100%. And if they're running with the Lemire strands, again, that's that
was our favorite part of Green Arrow so far.
So yay! Another yay. Red Hood and Arsenal up next,
which is like pure distilled Sean comic book.
It really is. It's stupidity. It is 20-something kids running around doing stupid stuff, trying to be superheroes, kind of winning, kind of. And where we pick up with these two, they have gone below the streets of New York City to infiltrate. And they've disguised themselves as just regular stormtroopers of this group called Cobra. La, 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 la. And they're going to run around, and the leader of Cobra La 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 is doing his monologuing and doing all of his alliteration and his goofy speeches, and
they are Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yes, it's a full page of them making fun of and making snarky comments about the monologue that the leader of Cobra La 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 is getting. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want from this book. I don't need all this
You just need these two being idiots.
Yes. That's exactly what did I ask for with Red Hood and the Outlaws?
You just wanted those two to be idiots together.
Exactly. And that's what this is. This is these two being idiots together, and they're down there going, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to stop this? Because they've built a bunch of giant snake mecha robots that they're going to attack New York City with. So they turn off the air conditioning to melt the robots, because it'll get really hot down there and the robots will melt, and then it cuts to above ground where the two of them blast off a manhole cover and come out all sweaty whoo! Another successful mission for Red Hood and Arsenal. And of course, turning off the air conditioning really did nothing, and Cobra La 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 and all their troops and giant snake robots are coming up to the streets and about to attack them, and they're just both like, well, this doesn't seem fair at all. Yeah, but they started it, so let's go fight giant robots and a G.I. Joe organization.
Yeah.
Just cause. I've already said all I need to say about it.
Yeah.
It's these two being idiots.
Mhm.
It's fun. It's light. It's not taking itself seriously. And
and the artwork was by Dennis Medry, I believe.
yes.
Yeah, the guy who's kind of famous for, or at least internet famous for, he did a bunch of Greaser era redesigns of the Batman
he's
characters.
the one that did that.
Yeah.
That is that why Arsenal now just has the big old mutton chop sideburns now?
Maybe. Well, that's kind of been his thing.
I know, but
Yeah.
he was.
But yeah.
He had the longer hair. Now it's short with just the mutton chops.
Oh, yeah.
It's all 50s style.
Mhm.
It's gonna be awesome.
Listen to some Brian Setzer.
Yeah. No, again, this is exactly what I wanted. Kudos. You guys delivered what I wanted. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to, I see what you did here. You got Starfire next.
Yeah.
With Palmer and Connor and Palmiotti and Lupacino.
Lupacino.
Yeah.
What do you think of their art here?
Pretty nice.
Yeah. It's got that nice tone to it where it's not the racy. I mean, she's obviously still attractive.
She's still, sexy Starfire. That's obviously what, is going to bring a lot of eyeballs to it, but it's not as overtly not as 90s as it has been
it's
so
not
far.
As trashy is what it is. It's not as trashy.
A little classier. She looks like, she now looks like those girls who are just always wearing exercise gear to make it look like they're always exercising.
Oh, Starfire's going to rock the yoga pants from now on?
Yeah, I guess so.
Nice.
Well, she's got the running shorts. I mean,
Fair enough.
But yeah. So Starfire, she talks with everyone that she has interacted with so far in the New 52 to try to figure out how to strike out on her own and discover her own identity. So she talks to the Outlaws. She talks with Cheshire. I'm going to guess that's Essence?
Yes, that's Essence. Bam, as you
yes,
always say.
I just wanted you to say Bam. And Red Robin, for some reason. Has she interacted with Red Robin at all?
Yes.
Okay.
They had a run-in when it was the whole death of the family thing.
Okay.
When they went back to Gotham City.
And the Titans
to deal
interacted
with, all
with the
that.
Outlaws. Yep. Okay. Yeah, because he acts like a total dork here.
Holy
God.
Again.
Like,
every time I see this guy, I just want to punch him in the face.
I know, right? He's cool in the Titans book now, but man.
Yes, he is.
Such a dork in this. It's almost intentional. So then after she's like, you know what, none of this is doing anything, I'm going to talk with Superman. We're both aliens from another planet trying to live on Earth.
Makes sense.
We would know a lot more. And so after he, gives her some good advice and she unsuccessfully puts the moves on him, and he gets kind of awkward about it.
Yeah, he's kind of like, okay. Well, I don't think it's the moves. It was she's trying to be more human.
Yeah, so she gives.
She's like, I believe we do the hugs now.
Yes, and then he's just like, okay.
God, I hope Wonder Woman isn't seeing this.
Superman, gotta go sit down for a while.
I'm just gonna bend over and fly away.
Yeah. Why is Superman flying perpendicularly? I don't know.
Who flies at a 90-degree angle? That's weird.
Yeah. She decides she is going to move to Key West and immediately tries to set up shop there by awkwardly becoming friends with the local sheriff. It's like, hey, you're the sheriff. Help me try to move in here and be a superhero.
By the way, I'm an alien that shoots laser blasts out of my fists and eyes and stuff. So, where should I move in?
Yeah.
You guys have any crime, any super crime of some sort that I can help out with?
Just a lot of rollerbladers. Okay, I mean that's kind of a crime.
Maybe King Shark will show up and they'll pal around together.
If only
King Shark and Starfire. That would be a pretty good team up.
I've heard that your name is the Trixie and you like to party.
Again, it has they've obviously dialed into your Balky Starfire.
Yeah, there's a little bit more Balky here. Not quite.
Not quite.
Not completely throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
No,
because
the original. They have 40 issues of her already established in the new 52.
Not like how Batgirl. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, why are you throwing out everything before it? They didn't. It's
not
there.
At all, really. I mean, it's still there.
It just looks prettier. That's all.
They're focusing on different aspects of her personality instead of what they have been.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a different character through a different lens, or same character through a different lens is what they're doing. And I thought this one was playful enough. The Cheshire saying, why don't you just go to the moon? I don't want to see you ever
I don't
again.
like you. I don't like interacting with you at all. Why are you talking to me?
And then as soon as she's telling Superman all of the things that, I'm looking for a place that everyone's nice, that there's no problems, no one's fighting with one another. And he goes, did anyone mention the moon? And she's like, why, they did actually. Should I move there? And he's like, no, what they're saying is that place doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So very cute, very fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've been enjoying a lot of Connor and Palmiotti and Gray's work throughout the New 52. So I'm kind of looking forward to where they go with this one. They said this one's supposed to be more Power Girl instead of Harley Quinn.
Okay.
So obviously Harley Quinn has its own tone that they're doing over there. They want this one to skew a little closer
Why
to
can't
their...
it be more like Terra? No one remembers Terra that they did.
Did they do Terra?
They did a new version of Terra in the old continuity.
Okay, gotcha.
And she was eventually friends with Power Girl just so they could kind of get some more eyeballs on it. And
Sure,
it didn't really
sure.
go anywhere, but I was intrigued by it.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's same writing crew, so maybe you'll get at least some of that type of stuff. Maybe Terra will move to Key West as well.
Maybe.
We haven't seen her since Ravagers?
Maybe their version of Terra, who I thought was more interesting, will show up.
Yeah.
And she's not brothers with Geoforce, so we definitely won't be seeing him. All right. Oh, I'm moving on next.
Yep. More alien stuff.
Long hair.
Gauntlet
hand. Green Lantern. All right, so it's Green Lantern, Venditti, and Tan, I believe, are continuing on.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so Hal Jordan is a renegade cop with a trench coat and a lantern gauntlet, and he's not playing by the rules, and a whole universe is out to get him, but he's still going to be a nice guy.
Yeah. I believe what we said it was going to be was him trying to pretend he's evil while saving cats from trees. Like, "Wahaha, I will get this cat from a tree and no one can stop me."
Yes.
Aren't you
Cower
all afraid
before
of me
me.
now?
Cower before me. Also, here's Mr. Tibbles.
Yes, Mr. Tibbles, my newest minion. What do you think of the direction they're taking this? There's obviously well, maybe not obviously. They're doing their own thing, but the Red Lanterns Guy Gardner biker gang thing worked out fairly well for everyone.
Yeah.
Worked out fairly well for pretty much everyone. So now we have this one where he's going off and being a renegade himself, grew his hair out long. If you notice, the spaceship he's flying is from the animated series.
Oh, yes, it was, wasn't it?
Maybe Aya's going to show up.
I hope so.
That would actually...
That would actually get me to sign up.
Yes,
That would get me to sign up
be-
pretty easily.
I would be 100% on board if it's him with Aya and maybe Razor shows
Yeah,
up
maybe
down the
Razor, yeah,
line. And,
yeah.
I'd just be like, oh, hey, guys, how's it going?
Long time no see.
I would be 100% on board for that.
Yeah.
But, it's the exact same ship from the animated series that they had on Cartoon Network there for a while that he's flying around in. A lot of people are saying they're getting kind of a Han Solo, Star Wars, Boba Fett mercenary type vibe.
What was the Han Solo book called?
The Han Solo? Oh, Threshold.
Threshold. There we go.
The Adventures of Han
Maybe
Solo.
he'll run into the tree girl or something.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You love that. That was Green Lantern related too.
Yeah, it
That
was.
was in the GL family.
Yeah.
So there, maybe he will.
Maybe he will.
Maybe he'll find all the other GLs from space out there that are just, well, they're dead now.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He'll find their bodies and take their awesome trench coats and stuff and
Yeah.
be all super futuristic. I like the direction they're going personally. I think it's a good thing to...
Get him away from the Green Lantern Corps for a while.
I feel like I'm one of the people that really like that storyline of him being in charge of the Green Lanterns and failing miserably.
Yeah.
Failing abjectly and miserably at every turn. I thought that was a great thing to let some of the air out of his balloon there so that maybe he'll be a little more relatable moving forward.
Less Peep the Light show.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed that story, and I think this is a good continuation off of that to now distance themselves from it and rebuild him back
Yeah, let
up.
him be by himself. Let him not get overshadowed by any of the other characters.
Yep.
Just do stuff by yourself.
And they can build him back up from here. So
And then
that's
in
what
two,
you
and then
do.
in two,
You
three,
knock people down, you build them back up.
And then in a couple of years when everyone misses the Green Lantern Corps, you can bring him back.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think next week we'll start seeing what they're doing with a lot of the core.
Okay, yeah.
So there are still
Yeah,
other
I'm not
books
looking
out
ahead,
there.
so you know.
Yep, there are still other books out there. Green Lantern related.
Yes.
My original question for this episode was going to ask if I should go buy all of the brass polish in the world to corner the market while DC is rolling out its big brass balls. And the main reason for that is this next title, Omega Men.
Holy crap.
Holy sweet Jeebus. This takes some cojones
Yes.
because...
This is a mic drop preview issue.
Do you know who did this one?
Not 100% aware.
Tom King.
Okay, and he's doing the Convergence series, right?
No, this is the part of the creative team of Grayson.
Oh, okay.
So I was automatically like, okay, I'm already intrigued by this book, but I want to give it a fair assessment. I'm gonna not bring all of my absolute adoration of Grayson into this. I'll just sit down, I'll read it, and take it for what it is. And this is what it is. We start off with a terrorist video, quite literally just like you would see on the news, with a tattered Omega flag in the background, and the Omega men drag a chair in with a man tied to it with a bag on his head and set him in front of the camera. And then they proceed to give their manifesto to the camera about how, oh, you Citadel people, you came in and said you were going to be our liberators. You were going to help us with all of our problems, and we welcomed you with open arms, and you turned out to be nothing more than conquerors. You are evil people. You have broken every promise you have ever made with us, and you have killed so many of our people. And as I'm reading at that part already, I'm like, uh-oh, where are they going with this? And then it continues on there, and they tell the whole story about how their religion believes in the Alpha, and that's what the Citadel believes. They are the Alpha of civilization. That's who they are. Well, our religion also believes in the Omega, and that's who we are, your counterbalance. And we're here to make you answer for your crimes, your sins, and everything you have ever done. This man here with the bag over his head, and they pull off the bag to show Kyle Rayner, a white lantern that you sent to negotiate with your lies. You sent this man, filled his head with lies, and made him try to come to negotiate with us so that we would let down our guard so that you could kill our people yet again. You did this. I want you to remember that. You killed this man to spread your lies. And that's when they call in Tigor, and say, do it. And as Tigor comes in to kill him, Kyle is given just enough time to lift up his head. A little tear rolls down as he says, I'm sorry, Carol, I'm going to be late coming home. And as Tigor puts his claws to his throat to rip it out, the video feed cuts out, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And it ends with a quote basically stating that, one man's freedom fighter is another man, or one man's terrorist and another man's freedom fighter. That's not the quote they use. It's a different one talking about how everyone has the potential to go do something. It's just a matter of what cause they use it for. It's all perspective. And it's this cold, stark 9-panel grids on each page.
Yeah,
and it's
that
just
continuous shot. Oh my god!
It's just a steady shot the entire time with just the characters pacing behind Kyle Rayner with a bag over his head, and then just preaching to the camera. And I'm like, you got me hooked. Yeah. I want to see what's going to happen in this book. Yeah. But wow, playing with fire on this one.
Seriously,
I'm amazed. I am amazed in the world that we live in today that there is not some sort of backlash with this title already.
Seriously.
I'm amazed that there is nothing being said about this. I mean, other than like, wow, that's really interesting. I want to read it.
Yeah.
That's not the reaction I was expecting to find in the store and online when I read this book. And people seem to be embracing it. So I'm just like, back away slowly. Don't focus on it too much. Tom King, ex-CIA.
Yeah.
So they've given him free reign when it comes to the spy, the espionage, the counterinsurgency style books that they're going to run with. And he has shown it to be a forte of his, very much so. And if that's the tone they're going to take with this book, I got to read it just to see what they're going to do with it, to see how far they're willing to push it, really. Honestly, because, taking some risks. I'll leave it at that. I will leave it at that. But
certainly not a retread of an old character.
No. Considering the only time I read them was the Ran Thanagar War, where they were just like the
they showed up in Planet Heist, I think.
Yeah, and the actual war itself, and they were just being teleported around like, woo, Zeta Beam over here, let's help out Adam Strange, he's our buddy, yeah, woo. They were like party people that would just roll in and beat up Thanagarians and then just woo, fly off stage again. And I was like, okay, so this is gonna be like a little space romp adventure type thing. No, this is not a space romp adventure type thing. So next up, Brian, what do you got?
I have got. Oh, you've got something.
Do I actually?
You've got something else that's awesome.
I do.
In the Grayson universe.
Yes, I do. I have Midnighter. Midnighter. Did not expect to like this book at all. I didn't expect
anyone from Wildstorm to be showing any use in the new modern continuity.
And this book blew it out of the water as far as expectations, because we have Midnighter, who's in bed with his latest conquest, shall we say.
Yeah.
And he is woken up because Defauster Kane, the crazy want to destroy the world gang from Grayson, are out there up to their antics once more, and he is called in by his team. Hey guy, Defauster Kane stole this perdition pistol from a nearby church. Legend is that if you're shot with it, you get marked to be possessed by a demon. Can you just go stop him for us real quick? And he's like, yep, duty calls. And he heads on out to the street to find them in a souped up, like, Bigfoot truck. And they're like, who's that crazy guy with the mask and the chin spike? Let's run him over. Woo! And they go to run him over. And he casually, nonchalantly just kicks out a light post, spears the truck and flips it over and knocks them all out. And, they're all like, you're crazy, man. You're crazy. Holy crap. And he's just like, yep. And he just goes about his business, punching them all in the face. Total badass. Complete and utter badass, just beating everyone up. And one of them pulls out the pistol and starts shooting all crazy. He could dodge it because he can predict things by...
The way they show his prediction powers is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's Amadeus showing all over the place.
Yep. He just sees it all and he just kind of weaves his way through all the options of the best one he can choose. And unfortunately, one of the bullets, though, hits one of the other members of Defauster Kane, who instantly turns into this giant demon monster. It's like, raw, I will sup upon your flesh this day. And then he just beheads it with a piece of glass. It was like, they're like, yep. Very casual this entire time. He's just like, doop, doop, doop. He would almost need a cup of coffee in one hand to be any more casual in this book, where he's just like, yep, I know I'm a badass. I'm just doing this stuff cause. That's why I said he's the Chuck Norris of the DCU if we're gonna go old school internet memes. Unfortunately though, after he's killed this one demon, this crowd starts screaming, oh my god, my daughter was hit as well, and he turns around to see this little child demon, and he starts strutting on over to it, and he picks up the little girl, and the whole crowd's like, no, Midnighter, don't murder the child! We know it means nothing to you to just kill things left and right, but please do not murder the child. He's like, I'm not gonna murder the child. He kind of gives it the once over, looks up and down, he's like, you're not a demon. You're an alien. I can see the alien DNA all over you. So tell you what, Mr. Demon Alien thing, let's have a little chit chat. I'm gonna punch this kid so hard, you're gonna feel it over there. And then when I'm done with that, I'm gonna track you down wherever you are in space. I'm gonna figure out a way to get out into space, and then I'm gonna hunt down you and kill you and everything that you hold dear. And then I will raise the ground and salt it so that nothing will ever grow again. Unless you let this little girl go. And the thing just kind of looks left and right, and then it goes boop, 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 boop. And it kind of backs away. Midnighter stops an entire alien invasion with a threat. With just the threat of punching a little girl in the face, the entire alien race goes, let's just leave that one alone. Let's not go there whatsoever. Again, the whole thing is absolutely balls to the wall insane. It's high energy. It feels like an action story, but with so much more character to it.
Yeah.
Because Midnighter just feels raw. He feels just... like testosterone.
He feels like an awesome new character that we're getting to meet for the first time, even though he's existed before in many different iterations.
A lot of people are saying that he's like the original Authority run, like Warren Ellis's Authority run. This is the style of he was back at that time.
Okay.
I obviously don't know whatsoever, but I'm like, if that's what he's like, I might have to go back and read that because this is a pretty badass character right here.
He's obviously going to need to be knocked down a few pegs for the stories to be interesting. But you know what? If you want to give me a good
Does
6
he
or
though?
Yeah, I know.
Does he though?
If you can keep this up every issue and still make it awesome, then that would be an amazing achievement, and I would have no issues with that whatsoever.
Same. So a breakaway surprise for me as far as just went in with low expectations. I'm not going to kid.
But he has been awesome in Grayson though.
He was awesome in Grayson, but I was afraid of an Aquaman and the Others, where I absolutely loved the Others when they were showing up in Aquaman, and then they left into their own book, and they were kind of shadows of who they were in the Aquaman series.
Gotcha.
The potential was wasted at that point, and I was like, oh no, they're going to spin him off, and it's going to be not quite as good as he was over there.
Yeah, it's better as a supporting character, not as a
Exactly.
star,
I was afraid he couldn't support it himself. Mind you, it's 8 pages. It's infinitely easier to make 8 pages interesting and fast-paced and just balls to the wall insanity. we'll see how they do with the full book, but they did well enough with the 8th that I'm on board to see how it goes.
Very much so. All right, going on to more surprises. Doomed.
Oh yeah,
Doomed. Be nice, internet. Be nice.
Be nice. You know what? You can't really blame the internet, because what was our reaction when we heard the premise of this book? We started making jokes before we even knew what this book was going to be like. And
then we found out what the book was like, and we came up with even more jokes.
Yeah, well, they weren't mean-spirited. It was just kind of like directions the book could go that we would just start giggling to ourselves. So then we get this, and why don't you tell us what this is?
Yeah, so... a kid by the name of Riser was infected by doomsday spores during the whole Doomed storyline.
Riser is doomsday?
Yep.
Man, mad about you.
He's very mad about you. Hope Richard Kind shows up in some capacity. So he was infected by doomsday spores, and he becomes like a skinny doomsday-esque monster. And he tries
hipster doomsday.
Yeah, and he tries to. No, that's his roommate. So he tries to fight crime, but he's a doomsday monster, and he can't talk when he's a monster. He can just make grar noises while we're getting his hilarious internal monologue. He's like, I'm trying to explain myself to the cops, but it just comes out as rar, rar.
And then the next panel is just like, yeah. It's like, nope, not quite what I was trying to get across here.
Yeah, so he's just freaking everybody out as he's trying to stop a bank robbery. And so he seems to constantly be at battle with another new hero in Metropolis named the Alpha Centurion.
This is an older character,
Older
right?
character, but repurposed, new version of him. So we see a fight between the two. Riser's Aunt Belle and his crush Jane, a little on the nose there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Are caught in the scuffle, and when he finally gets away, he's able to change back into his shrimpy normal guy form. And then he goes and he meets up with his roommate, Roman, who is actually the Alpha Centurion.
But wears a colorful scarf as a disguise.
Yeah, yeah, he's the hipster, man.
Yeah.
He looks like he just stepped out of Rent, for God's sake. I was shooting a very poorly made documentary about my friends' lives. I'm going to win a lot of awards for it. Trust me.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
It's just random shots of my friends hanging out, but trust me, it's a very important.
That's just a night job to pay the bills.
Yeah. So, yeah. So there's what a crazy pair. They hate each other in their superhero forms, but they're best of friends outside of it.
Yeah. I mean,
and like Roman's always like looking out for him because he's kind of a shrimpy dude. You know, he's getting profiled by cops as he's just walking by in a hoodie, you know?
Yep. Again, it sounds tropey. I mean,
yeah.
He
literally has Aunt May and Mary Jane as his side characters. I'm a little skeptical about that, but we'll see where they go with it.
Well, we'll see. Yes, We'll see where they go. It sounds tropier than it actually is. Yeah. It seems like it's going to be a fun little side story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what their end game is with it, and I don't think I want to know what their end game is with it. I just want to enjoy the ride with it, and if it's a new character because the main thing that's missing in DC's line right now for me heading into Convergence was that new hero learning the ropes character, really, that they really weren't focusing.
Just kind of a new character, period.
Yeah, I mean, you had like Blue Beetle before. Yeah. You had the I'm trying to think of who some of the other ones were that they've had out there. Obviously, some of the Robins when they were coming on.
Yeah.
Batman's been doing that, but it's all been
Jared.
Yeah, I mean, it's all been in the Bat books. It hasn't been like a solo title that's a new hero learning their way, doing their thing.
He's still Superman adjacent, but you know.
Vibe was another one that I mean, that's like the tentpole one that we've been saying is the best one in the New 52 in that genre. So, I mean, I really like that style of book. I even like Nova over at Marvel when that was first starting. The latest run, it was very similar. It's the kid getting the powers, learning his way. I kind of like having the beginning run of that for new characters because it really bonds me to them a lot more than when it's just hey guys, I've been around for like 50 years now, but yeah, come on, you can figure it out as we go. So I don't know. Obviously, it's pretty simple psychiatry as to why, or psychology, why I would feel more linked to a character from their beginnings rather than halfway through. So. Better than I thought it was going to be. Again, just like Midnight.
I had no clue what it could have possibly been.
I was wary. I was very wary of this one heading into it, and it at least was a fun little read. So your mileage may vary, but for me, it was a fun read. Let's talk about a book that is not matching the tone I was expecting. Prez. I hear the premise of Prez is Twitter elects a 19-year-old girl to be president of the United States. What's the first thing you think of tone-wise? Wacky, madcap adventures, ponies all over the White House lawn. That crazy teenage girl president.
Yep.
She's so nuts. That's Prez. And instead, what we get is this, which is, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of lighthearted, zany antics type stuff, but the year is 2036. We're jumping into the future. That way they can do whatever they want. They don't have to worry about it. As we've talked about before, post-Convergence, some of these books are going to take place within the main continuity. Some of them, they're just kind of doing their own thing, and some of them are going to be loosey-goosey tied, like, the entire planet blew up. We should probably mention that, and that's it. That's all we're going to tie in with it. And this is one that's going to be off on its own. The year is 2036, and some things are obviously different, i.e., 19-year-old girl president elected by Twitter. I guess Twitter is an entity now that they just vote things like that. And she is flying her way with her cabinet to a UN meeting. She's president-elect right now. Her name is Beth Ross. A little on the nose as well. Little on the nose. Another thing that's different, the UN has recognized Anonymous, the hacktivist group.
Yes. I don't like the fact that they used actual Anonymous and didn't come up with a fake one.
Yes, same here. I was actually like, good job, guys. You don't have to dance around.
Yeah.
Just jump out there and unless they make them a bunch of Nimrods, and then you might want to change your password at the very least. Yes. But things go south when their plane is shot down, and these U.S. Sentry mecha. What do they sound like when they come running onto the scene? Okay. Thank you, Brian. They come running in. They're like, oh, good. The U.S. has sent their sentry drones to assist us. And they shoot and kill the entire cabinet. And Beth Ross is forced to hide. We do cut over to the company that's running it. It's a private company that's running these security drones that have basically a dorm room where two guys are like playing Xbox, and that's how they see these drones and what they're doing.
And it's Thanksgiving.
So they enacted a special mod for it, and all the insurgents look like turkeys. And I was like, that's kind of dark, really. That's actually more than kind of, that's really dark right there. And these guys are just kind of like, ha, let's shoot all the insurgent turkeys. And of course, it's Beth Ross and her cabinet. Pretty obvious this security firm here is aware of what's happening. At least someone in the firm is trying to cover it and make it look like, oh yeah, don't worry about who you're shooting. Ha 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 ha. And of course, Beth is in a panic because these giant mechas are shooting all over the place. So she places a call on the sat phone back to the UN, gets transferred to Anonymous, and calls in a favor. Hey, I'm down with the youth culture. I'm a hep cat, as the kids are saying nowadays. Can you give me a hand? And they say, yes, we can give you a hand. And they actually hack the sentry drones and make them shoot each other. And she is able to make her way back to the UN meeting late, but still makes it there. Now fully aware that someone is trying to kill her before she can even take the presidency, and full of resolve to actually make sure that they do not succeed and that she becomes the best damn president this world has ever seen. Not the tone I was expecting in this one at all. But pulled me in. It's still
kind of wacky though. You got that hyper stylized. Ben
Caldwell don't get me wrong whatsoever. But remember how last episode we were talking about the Harley Quinn Convergence book, where I said the outer layer is kind of the zaniness and everything like that. But if you just scratch just an inch below that, it's a dark storyline. That's what this is right here. This is, if you even try to look past the veneer that's over the top of the candy veneer that's on top, there's some dark shit happening in this book. Insurgents being made to look like turkeys is...
So the people who are shooting them don't feel bad about it?
That's messed up, honestly. That is a dark commentary in general, and sadly probably not that far away.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of waiting, probably not my lifetime, until people are paying companies to fight in wars, when it's just all remote drone warfare type stuff, and you get into your mech warrior pod and you actually pay some company $150 to go fight on the war front thousands of miles away.
Yep.
That's gotta be creepy as hell, but kind of heading that direction right now.
Well, what do you expect from Mark Russell?
Is that this one?
Yeah, good old Mark Russell, who, as we all know, the man who rewrote so many public domain songs to be vaguely about politics. He is the man for the job on this book.
Is it really?
There was a president who had a dog, and Checkers was his name. Oh, Nixon, Nixon,
Is this for real, or are you just
and
messing?
he almost kept his job. Oh, no, there's another guy who does terrible political songs named Mark Russell.
Okay.
And when I saw that, I'm just like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to make dumb jokes about this every time we do an issue of Prez.
Yay! Another
The man who I
running
remember
joke.
as a child because he wrote a song about the Teamsters to the theme of Flintstones. Teamsters, meet the Teamsters, and a bunch of senior citizens of the audience are like, oh, I recognize that song, and he's being very political.
Yes.
I see what he's doing there.
Applaud.
PBS, you've done it again.
You've done it again. So you have one final book.
Yes,
for this
I do.
minisode.
You want to talk about a candy-coated veneer with absolutely nothing underneath, and I love it.
Is it a candy-coated veneer? Because it's kind of got some viscera all
Just
over
a
it.
bit. Section 8. The side characters from the Hitman series by Garth Ennis and John McRae, the original creators. I'm not quite sure how to explain this.
Yeah, what were they like in the past?
They were joke characters. They were the most bottom basement. They were homeless people as superheroes who Hitman occasionally ran across, and sometimes they helped him, kind of.
Kind of, as much as these type of characters can help a situation.
Yeah, like there's a guy who's just a drunk. He was named Six Pack. He was in charge. There was a guy who looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was called the Defenestrator, who carried around a window so he could throw people through it. There's a guy named Jean de Baton, whose entire thing was that he was very French and he carried around a baguette and he hit people with it. A guy named Flemgem that shoot nuclear loogies at people.
Okay.
There's a guy named Shakes, who I believe just had Parkinson's. It's not politically correct. It's not. Oh, and of course, our favorite Dog Welder, the guy who welds dogs to criminals.
Who is your go-to whenever we're talking about weird characters?
Yes. So
strap in. That's the tone.
Yeah, that is the tone
that you're kind of signing on if you read this title.
Yeah, and the other one was, I believe, Friendly Fire, who always accidentally hitting his teammates.
What about El Bueno?
Oh, Bueno Excelente, the creeper flasher superhero.
Okay.
Possibly a little molesty.
Possibly a little. There's no.
Kyle Rayner did not make it out of a meeting with Bueno Excelente, the same man he was before, unfortunately.
Man, Kyle Rayner's just having a bad week.
Garth Ennis did not care for Kyle Rayner back in the day. Oh, I've got to put a superhero in my book? I know who I'm going to put there. So
that's why he wears the Viewmaster, so he can just not see that ever again.
Yep. So some new Gotham loser heroes, a guy named Power Tool, who has a drill strapped to his face.
Yes.
Guts, who is just a walking pile of viscera.
Yes.
And the Grappler. Who loves talking about his name and carries around a grappling hook.
That's his superpower, by the way. He has a grappling hook.
And he says the Grappler a lot.
Yes.
They try to track down the long-thought dead Dog Welder to rekindle the legend that was Section 8. Most of Section 8 was thought to be dead. Spoilers for a book that's like 20 years old.
Yes. Yeah, you're fine with that one.
In the final fight of Hitman, a bunch of the Section 8 guys died. Just heroically?
Heroic.
Question mark? Yeah, but so these other loser heroes are trying to, they heard that Section 8's getting back together and they want to join the crew and live on in that legend of,
I do love how they track down Dog Welder, though, by sitting outside the local animal shelter where all of the dogs have been put to sleep.
Yes.
They're like, well, you would probably come by here at some point just to restock.
Yeah. And sure enough, they come across the all-new, all-different Dog Welder, because in the flashbacks, he's just a white guy. This is an African-American gentleman who's now in the Dog Welder costume, but they think he's the old classic Dog Welder because he's very mysterious, like Batman, It's like no one really knows, is Dog Welder real? Anyone could be Dog Welder.
Dog Welder hates dogs. And welding.
And crime. He's very pro welding, Sean.
Okay.
Come on.
Dog Welder loves welding, but hates dogs.
Yeah, so they're like, come on, let's go back and let's reform Section 8. And his response to that is, silently welding dogs to all their faces and walking away, very stoically. And they're just like, "Oh man, this is great. We're probably being initiated."
I believe this is how you join Section 8.
Yes, the grappler.
Poor Guts is just like,
poor Guts.
there's a dog.
All I know is pain already, and now I know even more pain.
Who would weld a dog to a spleen? That's all I got over here.
Yeah. To say this is going to be my new guilty pleasure is an understatement.
Yes. There's a lot of people worried about this one.
Oh, that won't fly in this day and age?
Yeah. They're afraid how it's going to play now. I think it would hold up because it's just so over the top.
Yeah, I don't know how you can take it seriously. That's the thing.
It's absurdist to begin with, and then, absurdist doesn't really go out of style because it doesn't have one. That's the whole point, is it's absurd. You just look at it and go, that's just absurd.
Yeah.
So I think it will do quite fine, and enough people absolutely adore these characters. I mean, you were the first one to even mention them around me, and now it's just like that whole synchronicity where everywhere I look, someone's just like, Section 8, oh my god, Section 8!
Yeah. Like, I brought up Dog Welder as just a random character I wanted to see come back just because I thought that was the stupidest answer possible. And then, as I said, as soon as Section 8 was announced, literally the entire internet as one started saying bueno.
Yes.
So, bueno! And you're just like, oh, these people really enjoy Section 8.
They're saying good,
yes.
aren't they? No idea what was actually being talked about, but hey. So yes, again, honestly, what is that? That's 10 books there. I'd say like a 95% at least interest rate.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good, especially since our motto is that not all books are going to be aimed at everyone.
Yeah.
And we fully accept that and appreciate that fact, because I wouldn't expect a company to cater to just me.
Yeah.
I only have so many dollars. There's only so much money they're going to get out of me. They should probably broaden out their targeting there to at least get some other people's money. It's a good marketing idea to keep these books around. So we understand that, yet these 10 books, all 10 of them, at least have interest from me. Good job.
Yeah, seriously.
That's all I can say. Good job. They took some risks. They're trying different tones, a lot of different art styles in these.
I appreciate that. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of the criticisms that they have been receiving over the last couple of years, they're taking to heart, and they're going, okay, we'll try it your way. But you have no excuse now. Yeah. We're even giving it to you for free now. You literally have no excuse. Give us your best shot. What do you think? And they delivered. So, again, just as that reminder, you guys can go read these books. They're online. Try them out. You should at least be interested in one or two of them from our descriptions. They're good.
Yeah.
They're really good. And then next week we'll have another batch of 10. And we'll blow through those ones as well.
Yeah.
What was the big surprise for you this week?
Oh, man. Omega Men.
Yeah.
And Prez were probably my two,
Really?
Yeah.
Omega Men and Midnighter for me.
Yeah. Oh, and Midnighter. Yeah. That's the thing. I really liked a lot of these.
Yeah.
Like, even Doomed was a huge surprise.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously Green Arrow, I was already on board prior, and that's the only reason I'm not just like, oh, Green Arrow. I was already sold on that.
But those four were like, you were hoping, but man, that's very good.
Yeah. So, do you have anything before we take off for this one?
No,
we ran an hour on a mini episode.
Really? I thought we thought it was going to go a lot faster.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oops. So I guess this is an average sized episode now. TM. We got it now. We own average size episode. TM. So, without any further ado, then, everyone enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we'll do this again next week for another batch of 10.
Yep.